Jeffy Dahms has a up birth chart. I'm not saying anyone's destined to be a serial killer, but when you look at his chart, it kind of seems unavoidable for him.
Astrology, giving people an excuse to be a douchebag since 400 BC. Now I want to preface this video by saying if star signs and birth charts interest you, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But when you start to use those things to explain and excuse behavior, well now you've turned it into a problem. And today we will be looking at quite an extreme example of somebody doing just that, coming from none other than Daddy Gabby on TikTok. Who would have thought? Now, Daddy Gabby is an astrology TikToker who reads the birth charts of celebrities and uses them to explain how they act. Now, while there's no real harm in that aside from some stupid stuff she says about people that she's never met before, like saying that she knows people are extremely egotistical because, you know, they're born in February, it changes just a little bit when you make one about a serial killer. And it changes a lot a bit when you essentially say that because of his star sign, Jeffrey Dahmer couldn't help but kill people. Yeah, I'm not joking. So, without further ado, let's see why Daddy Gabby, professor of astrology, thinks why Jeffrey Dahmer was destined to be a serial killer because of the sky the day he was born. Please subscribe.
Jeffy Dahms has a fucked up birth chart.
Alright, we're already off to a horrible start. Jeffy Dahms? Referring to this man like they have English class together. Jeffy Dahms like to kill people. He is not your pal.
And it's not just because he's a Gemini Venus. If you don't already know, he's going to be a Gemini Sun with an Aries Moon and a Libra Rising. Everything he does is going to be ridiculously planned out, but he ultimately acts on emotion. But the aspects are where things get interesting. His Sun, Venus, and Mercury all fall in the 8th house of death, which usually isn't taken literally, but it is ruling his ascendant, giving him an extraordinary interest in the subject matter.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that he was fascinated by death because of his, what the fuck did she say, 8th house? Yeah, I'm sure it's that and not the fact that he was an emotionless psychopath who liked to eat people. No, it's definitely because of his 8th house.
Here, his Sun is interacting with his Pluto, making him extremely prone to experiencing a lot of death. Mercury also interacts with Pluto, making him extremely manipulative.
Can we take a moment to address the background music going on here? Got some What a Man playing by Salt and Peppa. Someone got a little crush?
And his Venus midheaven interactions make him popular at work. Do you kind of see where this is going? Overall, his chart indicates that he hates being alone. His moon's in the 7th house after all. But he also has a hard time interacting with society. He's incredibly prone to feeling like an outcast. So how do you make sure you're never alone when you can't interact with people? Keep their bodies in your freezer. I'm not saying anyone's destined to be a serial killer, but when you look at his chart, it kind of seems unavoidable for him.
Oh, okay, it's just unavoidable. I'll tell his 17 victims that the stars just weren't aligned for them. Now, after seeing this video, I kind of went down a rabbit hole on her page, and surprise, surprise, the stupidity does not end there. So I gathered a few more to show y'all. Let's start off with her explaining how astrology shows that Trisha Paytas is actually a genius.
Trisha Paytas is a social genius. Here's how her birth chart proves that she's a lot smarter than we think she is. Like Henry Cavill, Machiavelli, and yours truly, Trisha Paytas is going to be a Taurus sun with an Aquarius moon. This means that she's going to be highly adaptable due to the fact that she spends a lot of time in self-contemplation.
Oh, is that why they change who they are every single week? I mean, seriously, does anybody follow Trisha Paytas? They're a walking wardrobe of personalities.
You can't adapt if you don't know what you're adapting from. In fact, Trisha knows herself so well that she's able to make a character out of it. That's right, it's all an act. Trisha's going to have a Gemini stellium that falls on her 9th and 10th house of philosophy and social status respectively. On top of that, her Venus is going to fall right on her midheaven. This usually indicates that someone's going to be very popular. All of that being in Gemini is what gives her the superpower to make a character out of herself.
The more I listen to this astrology shit, the more I realize it's all just about confirmation bias. People will just listen to all the traits of the sign that apply and just ignore all the other ones. Think of the millions of people born on the same day as Trisha Paytas who didn't get famous. The millions of people who were born on the same day as Jeffrey Dahmer who didn't become a serial killer. I would like to see birth charts read on the day of birth, and we'll see just how accurate they turn out to be.
Usually that's something very difficult, as people will have a rough time separating themselves from the persona. However, with Trisha, this is going to be as easy as flip the honest way. Throw on the fact that she's got a Virgo rising, which is going to make her keenly perceptive of her surroundings. Trisha's just a comedy queen, and she's playing all of us.
I'm sure she is, just like every other internet personality. You think they act the way they do on camera in real life? Now look, I know what you're thinking. The one question you want answered in the universe. The only knowledge you desire. You wake up in a cold sweat each night, searching, looking, needing the answer. Well, don't you worry anymore, child, because Daddy Gabby is here to answer why Machine Gun Kelly would cry after sex.
Of course he's gonna cry, but you have to earn the right to see him do that. Even if sparks fly at your initial connection, he's gonna need a lot of confirmations from the universe in order to follow through with any of it.
Oh my fucking god, I cannot take the mouth noises anymore. I know sometimes they're inevitable, but oh my god. Fucking re-record the line. I hear your tongue more than I'm hearing the actual words you're saying.
Not only does he have a Pisces stellium, but his Venus is in Pisces. He has an idea of what he's looking for in the world. And so if you don't quite line up with that ideal, it's gonna take quite a bit of convincing for him to change his mind. Now, once he does, you're all of a sudden a part of this fantasy world that he's created. In fact, he might not even see you for who you really are. He might completely live in his head during the entire relationship, projecting what he thinks you are onto who you actually are.
I honestly just do not understand. Is this some sort of joke I'm not getting? Do people actually think that they can decipher this much about people that they've never met before, based off this sky the night they were born? I mean, she's describing this guy as this like manipulative idealist who can't take anything not going his way, and she's never even spoken to him before.
If he does this, it's not on purpose. In fact, with all those Pisces placements, he's actually going to be deeply empathetic. He's looking for a partner who can prioritize their emotional connection instead of just the physical one that they share in this world. Think of an alien looking for someone to return home with him. But he's also going to be super passionate about work, so he's looking for a partner that can help him and grow in his career while also providing emotional stability, but also someone who's independent enough to have their own thing going on.
Now this next one is, quite the doozy. I don't really know how to ease you into this one. I honestly don't think that there's anything that I could say that could prepare you for what you're about to witness, so I'm just gonna play it.
Were these two secretly lovers? Astrology says maybe. Why the fuck am I doing this? Starting off with OBL, he's going to have a Pisces sun, a Cancer moon, and the rest of his chart is going to be predominantly in Pisces. KJE is going to have the same sun and moon as Timothy Chalamet, of all people.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that statement alone is enough to dismantle this entire system. Based off of this tried and true science, Kim Jong-un and Timothy Chalamet should have similar personalities. Now, unless Timothy Chalamet is doing some shady shit in other countries I don't know about, I feel like this is enough to bring down the house.
Capricorn and Pisces, as well as the Sagittarius stellium. It's interesting that these are the two signs that they both have stelliums in, as Pisces and Sagittarius are essentially different sides of the same coin, which kind of explains their obvious similarities.
Obvious similarities? I mean, apart from them just being evil people, they were in two pretty different businesses. They were just evil people. That's about where the similarities end. And why is obvious similarities said with a little giggle like they both like to garden? No, they both like to murder innocent people for personal gain.
While in this lifetime, they weren't the most compatible on paper, they do share two past life connections, one of which specifically is a love connection. So they probably weren't lovers in this lifetime, but in the past, they definitely had something going on. I don't know why I did this.
Well, there you have it, the answer to the question nobody was asking. Apparently Osama bin Laden and Kim Jong-un used to be lovers, something that they'd both probably have you killed for saying. Well, that sure was a ride. I'm glad it's over. What's your zodiac sign? Maybe you're destined to be the next billionaire, or you used to be lovers with George Bush. The possibilities are endless. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and walk on over to that subscribe button, and get to know them. But you might want to ask their zodiac sign first, because you might be incompatible. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
Listen very closely. This is the constellation microphone speaking. The stars are telling you to subscribe to August the Duck, so you never miss any of his delicious videos. The stars are also saying that if you don't, I will be forced to uppercut your grandmother.